right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for attending the Public Allies Metro Detroit 2020 presentation of learning. Ooh, hey. Okay, Public Allies Metro Detroit is a program of the University of Michigan Dearborn's Office of Metropolitan Impact. Public Allies' mission is to create a just and equitable society and the diverse leadership to sustain it. With that, I would like to thank our Director of Metropolitan Impact for being here for the presentation of Learning 2020. And I would like to ask her if there are anything that she would like to say before we begin our presentations.
Good morning, everybody. I'm always stunned at how fast these terms of service go. It seems like just yesterday that we were at camp and getting to know each other, and already we're 10 months past that and wrapping things up. And I just want to tell you, it's been an incredible honor to get to know each of you. And I know I'll be sharing similar remarks at the during the graduation event, but I want to thank all of you for your service. And I'm super excited and thrilled to be able to listen over the next couple of hours and over the next couple of days during this week as we listen to your presentations of learning. I always learn something extraordinary during these presentations about your creativity, your commitment, your interests, your dedication, and what you gathered from serving your community. So that's all I got to say. I'm just super excited to be here. I'm delighted to see other members of the Office of Metropolitan Impact here, Sarah and Molly. Wave. Glad they're here too. So thanks, you guys. Be yourselves, enjoy the process, and we'll get to it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hall. So we're going to begin this like we always begin our meetings that we have. We begin with an open circle question, okay? So in your mind, circle up, okay? And our opening circle question is, and mostly this goes out to the allies who are presenting today, but our opening circle question is, if you could invite someone someone you respect, if you can invite someone you respect to sit beside you and support you in the making of this POL presentation, whom would it be? If you can invite someone you respect to sit right next to you, in the chair right next to you, to support you in this POL, and your POLs this week, who would it be?
I'm going to go with my homegirl at heart, Michelle Obama.
Okay.
My pops. Dad always knows.
Yes, he does. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to echo Mike and say Dad as well.
I was going to say Maddie. She knows what's up.
I would say my partner, but he's just right here off camera, so close enough.
Mine would probably be my mom, because I trust her advice.
Mine would definitely be my little sister, because she would be right next to me, making me laugh though.
I would say my sister, my older sister.
I think I would invite my family, friend, big brother, big sister for 20 plus years, Carol, or my boyfriend, Sean.
Who hasn't gone yet?
So in the chat, Tawana says Janine Williams, and Tiara says her older sister. And I would say my twin brother, John.
My phone was on mute, but yeah, I said my older sister. I respect her, and she always gives me good advice. And also, if I could have another person, Maddie too, because she's great.
I'll say my brothers, all of them, and my pops.
You know, I'd probably have to say my wife, who's here, but she's in another room on a Zoom call. So, my wife. Is that everyone? If that's everyone, I'd like to thank you for your circle question. And what I would like for you to do is just imagine those people that you just mentioned sitting right next to you for those of you who are presenting today and then Wednesday and also on Friday. Okay? So here we go. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentation of learning. And the first up on our presentation list is going to be Shanice Johnson.
Alrighty. Connecting my internet. Give me 1 second. See, we're starting a little bit early, so that's all. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure it's like, but I was scheduled at 11:25, that's all. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be doing physical visuals today. I'm not going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation, but I will be discussing with physical pictures. So I'm going to make sure you guys can hear me without.
Shay, I'm just checking in that you know that you're still on mute.
Oh, okay, I'm on mute. I am so sorry. So you guys.
No worries.
Okay, cool. I just.
We can hear you now.
Okay, cool. All right, so my theme is the journey as a public ally. And my organization is with Mecca Development Corporation. But I will start off with my experiences when I first entered Public Allies. So when I first entered Public Allies and we went to the camp, it was one of the greatest experiences ever, like something that I really, really needed actually. The camp was just very deep, sentimental. It was a good bonding moment. I'm quite sure everyone could really attest to it.
but it got you really thinking different. I would say it shifted my thinking on how I think about certain things, because I saw how there was some confusion certain times at the camp, and it's because of the way we think, just to be more open-minded and understanding how people, they come from different backgrounds, different situations. Everybody's going through something different. And we were able to all come together with just understanding each other from things like that. So I did want to share a picture from camp that I thought was really awesome. And I had to print it out and save it in a photo album. But yeah, I would think this is really great. So wanted to share that picture from the experience from camp. I did appreciate the bonfires that were happening, the stories, and most importantly, life maps. I think life maps was really, really, really interesting. It was interesting to hear other people's life map, but it's also interesting to hear your own life map. You're like, whoa, I didn't even know I did all this stuff until I wrote it actually down, until I actually put it on paper. So moving forward with that, I did want to speak about my accountability buddy that we actually did when we were at camp as well. I didn't know who really was going to be my accountability buddy because it was too many of us in a group. So I'm like, okay, let's just let my spirit pick my accountability buddy, which everybody was great, but it just it happened to be Amanda. Here's our picture we took. I don't even know when we took this. I think this was actually at the U of M office when we were in training there. We didn't get I don't think we got pictures at camp, but yeah, want to say shout out to Amanda. Cute picture. Yeah, guys can see it. She's been so helpful throughout this whole training. If I had questions or concerns, we were able to give each other advice and actually watch each other move kind of forward and habits that, we needed to work on, and give each other real, legit critique, not bashing each other, but critique to make us better. And I appreciated that about her, just with, trying to help me with habits that I need to work on, me being there whenever she needed some answers. So definitely wanted to shout out the accountability buddy. Moving forward with that, I wanted to speak about my hardest challenges that I have overcame. And it would be adjusting to the placement, just compromising with, maybe getting to know the manager and how they function, and, that manager knowing how I function just to get the job done. And once we decided how we were able to function with one another and know, okay, she functions better solo versus someone shadowing over her, then that's when I was able to overcome one of the challenges. It was a challenge starting off. But, once you compromise with things, have better communication, it became a better, outcome. And the fourth slide that I wanted to cover was how I have grown at placement, or in general, and what I've learned about myself. So how I would say I have grown, video's off. Okay, so how I have grown, I have been able to identify a little bit better any type of weaknesses or habits that I needed to focus on, whether it's just maybe just having better communication. I would say understanding that and identifying that and focusing on what I need to work on, whether it's communication, time management, or I would say, time management or communication. And overall, just being, I can always work on professionalism no matter what. I would say I have grown with being more open to communicate more, be more consistent. And not only that, checking my emails. I never like check emails a lot. And now I'm like, okay, we really have to check emails because wasn't like really an email person. So moving forward from that one, my 5th slide would be how I viewed myself before Public Allies and the community and afterwards. I can say I definitely viewed myself differently. Like the way I viewed myself before coming to Allies and then what I viewed afterwards, I would say there is definitely a change for sure. With understanding what I needed to work on and that I've been kind of like focusing on my weaknesses to better what I thought I was good at and happened to not be good at it. It's just knowing that I'm able to look back at myself, oh my God, I was terrible at this. And I'm making slight changes to become better at what I thought I was good at. So definitely I was able to strengthen some marketing skills in a different way. Whether it was like doing like Google Docs, learning how to do different things, making flyers actually at placement. I was able to be taught how to make certain flyers. I don't do digital marketing. I just promote and do the promotions of it, but being able to actually do like use Canva, for instance. I don't know if anybody is familiar with the app Canva, just making sure to make apps from there. My 6th slide, I will express with pretty much what I know I need to do, like start, what I need to stop doing, and do more of less of. So what I would say I would need to start doing would be to start focusing on organizing my schedule throughout the whole week, whether it's on a physical document or in a digital document. Just organizing it, like just pretty much fill it up like for the whole week. So that way I can add to my week without overbooking myself. I'm typically the person that I would overbook myself for things. And that's what I need to start doing. And what I need to do more, what I need to do less of, well, what I need to do more of, I would say just more listening than like, just have more patience. So that's what I've been working on, is just having more patience, do more listening. And that's what I would say. So just do more listening and have more patience. And my 7th slide, I would say a value that I would say that stuck out to me was continuous learning. I have always been continuously learning every day, whether it was at training. We were always learning something new at training, whether it was like something to do with nonprofits, or I like the actual, when I remember PD when you had those 2 ladies come out and you had them talk about like, if you're not into technology, we're gonna pretty much, they were stating that they will convert us to technology. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I really enjoyed that training when you talked about the nonprofits and they were able to teach us stuff about computers, computer literacy, things that I didn't think I would like. It was really simple. And then even besides before, the COVID, at training, I was able to learn some things about the organization. I was able to learn about a lot of things, how to do handbooks, things like that. And then during the COVID, what I learned, I was able to learn about some resources that you brought on PD, whether, even I would suggest like the media voices, people like that, knowing that there's people out here who they're still doing media work, even virtually, and connecting with other people that do consulting with like nonprofits. So yeah, I was able to learn and to network. And okay, one way, I'm gonna go into my 8th slide. One way I can show, others who I am is by my integrity, my leadership, just continuously having integrity, my energy, the accomplishments, the results. But before, I did want to do this before I end. I wanted to actually shout out the staff. I think this was a great picture that you guys took. Really great picture. Scott, Maddie in the corner, PV, Ajalon, Gerard, PQ, Naja, and of course Tracy in the middle. I don't know who the other two people are, but I just know you guys. But shout out to them too. But yeah, this was a great picture. So I wanted to print those out because I didn't do a PowerPoint. And last but not least, I got one more picture. Actually, what's happening? I do want to shout out the whole cohort, you know, for converting over to this virtual, like, yeah, I think that's everybody. It should be everybody for being able to be on a virtual call and still be able to do the training. I don't know if you guys can see it actually. But yeah, this was a really cool picture that you took, Maddie, of screenshotting things. And the last one, I don't know if you guys saw that one, when you did it on the Zoom. And the last picture, I believe you took this one too, Maddie. Yeah, this was really cool. Oh, when we found out our placements, actually. Yeah, this was a really cool picture that you took, actually, Maddie. So yeah, that's pretty much the sum of my learning with Public Allies. And I decided to do something different. I didn't have a PowerPoint, so I wanted to print out pictures for you guys. Thanks, Reed. Thanks, Reed. You go, Reed. Thanks, PV. So if you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to ask me for Bloomfest. Michael. I don't know, is that Mike? Hala, yes. You are awesome too, Hala. You are awesome.
So Shay, could you tell me, have you given it much thought? I'm not sure if you're going to try to serve a second term or if you're going to try to serve within another another program or something like that. But have you given any thought of how you're going to serve your community after Public Allies?
Yes, I am Life After Public Allies. So I was interested in Big Brother, Big Sister, actually. That was my first choice, but they didn't show up. But it's okay. Second choice was Michigan Resource Network, but you know. But either way, I'm still happy with where I'm at. But yeah, I am interested in working with Big Brother and Big Sister. I did talk to my PM about that. He said he could reach out to someone over there. But besides that, I was interested in learning more about nonprofits and opening up a nonprofit. Number 2. Number 3, I am getting certified in a hairstyle where I'll be able to do micro lengths for people who want to do extensions in their hair. You know, whether it could be for prom, a video shoot, whatever. The way we look is really important. And the 4th thing, I am actually about to do my own LLC and incorporate my media business as well within the next 2 months.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Thanks, PQ. Thanks, Tawana. Michael. Yeah, that's gotta be Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Mike, our financial specialist from OMI.
Oh, I'm like, is that Mike? I'm like, I don't
Other
think that's
Mike.
Mike. Yeah,
Other
I'm like,
Mike.
I don't think that's Mike because I'm like, I don't think his last name is that. But thank you, Mike. Michael, yeah. All right. Thanks, Maddie.
And Shay, one other question, then I'm done. Okay, but working at the placement, um, the name of your placement, what was at your placement? You know, was it placement that kind of fit within the mission, your personal mission?
I would say 50-50. I definitely, you know, if I could have did Michigan Resource Network, definitely. But I definitely would have loved to work with them for sure. I think it would have fit more in my mission, most definitely. But it was a good experience, you know, knowing that what Mecca had coming up. Most of the things that I was looking forward to doing, which would have been like working with the youth in the summer, organizing like the events and stuff, it would have fit into my purpose had I got a chance to get to it. But we didn't get a chance to get to it in the summer. So the things that I did in the beginning didn't fit into my purpose, which was fine. But the things that were supposed to happen in the summer fit into my purpose, but I didn't get a chance to even experience it. So yeah, 50-50. But yeah.
Okay.
I didn't hear you, PD.
I was just saying if there were any other questions or feedback.
Went twice.
Jay, I don't know if you can see, but there was much clapping happening for you.
Really? Oh my goodness.
There was much clap. Everyone's on mute, but there was a lot of clapping. So nicely done.
I seen that. I'm like, okay, you guys must have missed me because I was like, you guys definitely missed me. But shout out to the cohort for real, for being on this virtual call. I know it's a lot of, you know, pressure working from home because we got a lot of stuff going on at home. And I don't work better at home. I have to either go to the library or get out. I cannot be at home, but we're making it happen, you know? Thank God. But thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Honestly, honest to God, definitely. I appreciate you guys for being so awesome, the energy. It couldn't have been so great without our wonderful staff, how you guys are so cool. You know, you guys are wanting to see us win. You guys are not just here to be the police. Hey, you were late. Goodbye. No, hey, what's going on with you? Are you okay? You guys care. You know what I'm saying? It's a different. It wasn't a job. This was literally a training program for sure. Period.
I'm glad you felt that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't have survived at any other regular job like this.
Yeah, that way. But, you know, which is the reason why we don't call it work. We call it service. You're actually serving your community.
Yeah.
Stay away from the word work. So, yeah.
Damn, Leslie, stop calling me.
Great job.
Okay, cool.
Hey, if there are no other questions, then I'd like to thank Denise for her presentation of learning. Okay, with that, I would like to ask Reed to prepare. We're not starting Reed yet, but we are preparing for him to start. And we're setting up his presentation right now. So would you just give us a few minutes?
Willis, I think you might be able to play Reed's video as you had it pulled up.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Trying to offer support. If you need me, I'm here.
Willis is an expert, Maddie.
But for some reason, can you guys still see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
That's not supposed to be. Okay.
Sometimes you got to stop the share and go again.
Okay. Huh.
Willis, as the co-host, I'm able to stop your sharing. Do you want me to try that?
Try it. Because I can't get there.
Okay.
Never mind. Now I got to. All right. Wonderful.
Do you need me to try and share mine instead?
I just, oh, there it is.
Salutations, everyone. This is Reed coming at you pre-recorded from the Brightmoor Artisans Collective. Before we get started, I would like to make a clarification.
Can you hear my screen?
Yes, we can.
Salutations, everyone. This is Reed coming at you pre-recorded from the Brightmoor Artisans Collective. Before we get started, I would like to make a clarification. This is in fact the Brightmoor Artisans Collective, not the Brightmoor Artisans Collective. The word artisan refers to a person who is skilled in their craft. The word artesian is defined as relating to or denoting a well bored perpendicularly into water-bearing strata lying at an angle so that the natural pressure produces a constant supply of water with little or no pumping. There is no spring water in Brightmoor. We only have the Rouge River, and I promise you don't want to drink from it. So what is the Brightmoor Artisans Collective? We are primarily a community center that serves as a safe space, a cafe, a food business incubator, and a classroom. Unfortunately, we are closed to the public during the pandemic due to lack of resources, but the programming we generally offer includes a youth entrepreneurship training program, youth and adult cooking classes, homesteading workshops, market gardening sessions, weekly farmers markets, summer camp, yoga, book clubs, movie nights, free internet access, and an open computer lab with tech support. Our major focus is on supporting the community around ideals of healthy food and local economy. The BAC's mission reads, Brightmoor Artisans Collective is working to create a space where community members can safely and creatively work and learn together to process, market, and consume affordable and healthy food using a holistic, wellness-based approach. We work to accomplish our mission via 4 main components. These are the kitchen classroom, the commercial kitchen, the Artisans Café and Farmers Market, and the community creation space. We're actually experiencing a couple days worth of power outage at the BAC because of a storm that ripped through here. So welcome to my house. Make yourself comfy, but there will not be a tour. So I feel that beyond placement, this entire pandemic season has been a learning experience for everyone around me. I felt affirmed very on in my lifestyle choices and got rid of a lot of the hesitation I had over the life choices I was making. Just trying to live an anti-capitalist lifestyle actually seems like the best choice now. I've been shown that we cannot rely on the systems that are in place to take care of us, and I am going to continue as I've been doing. more strongly than I had before. So that's a wonderful learning experience. With the limited capacity of the Brightmoor Artisans Collective, I've been the main point of contact for all of our renters, which I usually am, but I also tend to have more of a buffer as there are more folks around and more people taking care of rentals as they're happening in the building. But as I am now the guy, I have really learned to shore up my business communication, to be more clear and concise and firm. I've been known as the nice guy for a long time, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but it also tends to mean that I'm a pushover, which isn't helpful. And so I'm really learning to draw my boundaries and to assert myself when necessary. And it's a process, and some of it is wrapped up in the language that I use, both in email and speaking, and it's a process of learning to detangle those things and figure out why I speak the way I do. But it's worth it, and I think it will help not only in the business world, but in my interpersonal relationships. And interpersonal relationships have also been a hot topic during this entire pandemic. I haven't seen a lot of people that I would like to, unfortunately, but also I am being affirmed in my antisocial nature, and I don't have to feel bad about it because everybody has to be antisocial right now. So that feels good too. Outside of the coronavirus experience, I have gotten more of an inside look of the nonprofit world over the past 2 terms, really. And it's been eye-opening, also affirming. I've never felt comfortable working in my for-profit jobs. Not necessarily because of the capitalist aspects of them, but there's always something to nitpick at, I guess, for me. They're either doing something that is seedy or just feels gross, like working for Quicken Loan, or they're very wasteful in nature, or whatever it is that I don't like about them. I could always find a million things, I'm sure. Serving at the Brightmoor Artisans Collective has been delightful in that we all share the same values, or at least very similar values, in the presence that we want to have in the world. And that's important, and now I know that that can exist for me in a workplace. I am less excited about nonprofits than when I first started. I've seen that it is really hard to keep them open. The idea of the BAC is that the rental kitchen will cover the operation costs of the organization. We've learned that that isn't necessarily the case. We have a number of renters who are in the kitchen regularly, but it's very hard to cover the costs of an entire building. We have a lot of infrastructure and a lot of things that like to break down. And I'm realizing that for a nonprofit to exist, they kind of have to pander to funds and rich people, and that doesn't feel good. So nonprofits are different than I expected, but maybe not much more than I should have expected. The last 2 terms have been pretty stressful, as I'm sure they have been for everyone else in the cohort. Good on ya, everyone. You made it through to the end. I know it's been hard. I am definitely not cut out for a full-time job. It's just not for me. Thank goodness I am fortunate enough to not have to work a full-time job after this. My lifestyle is pretty affordable, is one way to put it. But I've really learned through all of this that my focus needs to be on my home and my homestead and building that with my partner. We are really hoping to generate a lot of abundance with our space so that we can share that with people and make a place that is about healing. So that's been my biggest takeaway, is that what I need to be doing is right here. That doesn't mean I don't want to get out in my community and do things elsewhere. I still intend to work with the BAC. In fact, I have been offered a part-time position once our term has ended, and that'll be great. But I am very excited to start focusing on other aspects of my life. And that's all I have for you, folks. Thank you very much for watching my video. Shout out to Brittany and DJ, our director and co-director at BAC. You guys are wonderful. Shout out to Courtney. Thank you so much for joining us this term. I know it was kind of a short one in the building, but you were so much help you don't even know. And thank you to everyone who has been a part of my Public Allies experience. I appreciate all of you. I'd be happy to answer your questions after the video. Peace!
All right. That was great, Reed. That was wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for watching my video. I had fun making it.
All right, so Reed, you know I love you, my brother. I love you ever since I met you. You were just like passionate and you had a great heart. And so, and I understand that things got rocky as far as you saying serving the second term and the challenges you went through, but you made it through them challenges. So my question for you is, what were your goals when you came back as a second-year ally?
My goals were really just to be able to continue my work with the Brightmoor Artisans Collective. I really appreciate the work that is done here and the connection I've had to the community around me that I really just didn't experience before I was part of the BAC. And then also to experience whatever else I could through Public Allies itself, just meeting new people, getting more of an idea of what other humans experience in their day-to-day lives. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Reed.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Reed.
Hello, Naja.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So, just a quick question. What is one thing that, because I think I've gotten to know you pretty well over the last couple of years. So what is one thing that you learned about yourself this year that you didn't know before?
I can actually hold firm ground with people. I really, like I mentioned it in my video, but I really have always felt like a pushover, and I thought that was just my nature, and that it was just in me to let people get what they wanted. But I've really, like I have the tools at my disposal now to where that doesn't have to be the case. So I think that was probably my biggest takeaway from this term in particular. And a lot of that actually had to do with my experience of COVID and the whole pandemic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reed, I'd just like to say that your presentation really empowered me, because for the longest time I thought that I was the kind of person that should like let people just get what they want, and I was considered a pushover also, quote unquote. Yeah. But your presentation really inspired me, and I feel like my voice is stronger because of people like you. So thank you.
Thank you, Hala. I really appreciate that.
Oh, of course. Of course. Thank you for your impactful and powerful presentation.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know I was doing all that.
If you don't mind me asking, would you be taking that part-time position at the AC?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as soon as our term is up, I will be here doing the thing. Does anybody else have any other questions?
When you have that space of healing and abundance ready, give me a call. I want to come.
For sure. Yeah, it might have to wait till a little bit when pandemic has chilled out, but
most
for
definitely. Most definitely. But let's have a potluck. I'll bring
some. Absolutely. I love a potluck. Yeah. I don't know, just to touch on that whole thing a little bit more. We have a bunch of gardens at our house, and we're looking to get chickens and ducks and a turkey and keep bees. Our roommate who is moving in a tiny house makes herbal medicines
So that's just kind of all of those things go into what we are as a tiny little homestead community that we want to share with people. Everyone's welcome.
I support. You tell me what job you need done, and
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Shout out to your presentation, Reed. That was clever just to do a video.
Thank
that
you.
That would have been a lot better.
I kind of
For
had to
me.
do a video.
All right, cool.
My internet connection has traditionally been so bad here that I was worried if I didn't do a video, nobody would be able to hear what I was saying. So.
Right.
Hey, Reed, I just wanted to mention, I really appreciate it, and I'm sure Brittany and DJ will say the same thing. It's really fascinating when you can spend the amount of time that you have over the past 2 years learning about nonprofits and how they function and how they raise money and how they sustain themselves. And your comment about, sucking up to rich people, I totally appreciate, because I've spent most of my career doing that when I had no intention of having to do that. And, it's a real challenge to run nonprofits because you have far more stakeholders than businesses do. Businesses are make money, get big, get richer, get larger, grow, right? In the nonprofit sector, typically, the more successful you are, the less assets you have, right? Because you're serving more people, which means you have to raise more money. Like, it's an inverse, am I saying that right, relationship? And so it's a real challenge and a real struggle to do this work. And so I both appreciate that you commented on it, and I appreciate the fact that you've actually created, on a separate note, a personal lifestyle that is so low cost that you can actually, like, seriously, that you can pursue. You haven't become attached to all of these sort of other kinds of assets, right? That makes it possible for you to live, I guess I just think COVID-19 has probably revealed to a lot of people that their consumption habits don't have to be so big, that we can all pare down, right? And so it was really wonderful to listen to your process of, this experience affirming for you, the way that you're living, the way that you're connecting to your colleagues, the way that you work with the BAC and so forth. And Brittany, it's really great to see you. I think, is that DJ with you? Yeah, hey DJ, good to see you guys. It's really fun to see former allies building such rich relationships with current allies, and means a lot to us. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I really appreciate you. And I would like to say that my comments about nonprofits and my feelings about money making in them or fund allocating in them is just my experience. I think that there's totally a place for nonprofits. It's just is not necessarily something that I would choose for an organizational structure, but
Brittany and DJ, I love y'all. Miss y'all. Definitely. DJ in the building. Look at Naja Woods too. I love the hair, Naja.
Hey, Britt and DJ, didn't realize you were here.
Hey, Britt Brad. Hey, Deej Sneech. How you doing?
Like a reunion up in here.
Okay, if there aren't any other questions or any of the feedback for Reed. Okay, thank you, Reed. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, everyone.
There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you about. We'll do that offline.
For sure, let's do it.
Okay, now it's time for our next presenter, Courtney. So Courtney, I will bring your presentation up now, okay?
Hello, everybody. My name is Courtney Todd. I love my L, so I put my L. I am a proud AmeriCorps member, and I am serving through Public Allies Metro Detroit. Hold on. Okay. Through this presentation, you will learn where I serve, why I chose to serve, the impact that I have made or that has been made, and my next steps. I had the pleasure of being able to serve at Brightmoor Artisans Collective, which, as explained by my coworker, my co-server, is a beautiful community center where we allow individuals of all backgrounds to work and be creative in a space and be able to learn through programming, through service, through farmers market. We do this by creating these spaces and allowing these people to come in and work and more specifically be able to sell and market whatever things that they have. We envision an equitable and sustainable and local economy to help grow local businesses and locally crafted products. The community we serve, again, is in Brightmoor, which is my community. This community is so important for change. Just the gathering of the different minds, the gathering of the different talents, the gathering of creativity is really what propels change inside of a community. What my community looks like is a very urban, a very melting pot. We have plenty of homesteaders. We have plenty of non-homesteaders. We have plenty of creative individuals who range from woodworking to creating their own body baths and body sprays to creating their own juices, which are all products that we can carry at the Brightmoor Artisans Collective. My organization engages in the community through programming such as what's pictured here, which was one of our candle making classes that we offered. We also offer various cooking classes to youth as well as adults. We also serve our community through our cafe, which is our newest leg at the Brightmoor Artisans Collective. And that is how the voice of our community is heard. We often survey our community. There are surveys always available, finding out what our community wants, how they want their center to look, what they expect out of their center, and what we can do to better serve them. The Artisans Café was my home away from home. It is a living room. It's an old lady's living room. And I served there with Britt and DJ and of course Reed. I served there as a program manager and a cafe manager. Our program was our youth entrepreneurship program, and pictured here are a couple of our youth that I had the pleasure to be able to serve through that program. I was able to use all of our 6 PA core values. The 2 that I can think of off the top or that I would like to elaborate on are our focus on assets. We were able to, one of the first questions that I asked the youth as they entered into this program was, tell me about yourself. Tell me what you do. Tell me what you want to do. A different form of asset mapping for these youth. Just finding out what they have, what they bring, letting them know what they have and what they bring. And also collaboration. I worked with a lot of different volunteers from a lot of different sectors, financial sectors, as well as just entrepreneurship in general, farming and gardening, and was able to really bring volunteers in to speak with our youth and encourage them in whatever direction they wanted to go. The impact inside of my community, I can definitely say for the youth that we were able to serve, as well as just our community in general. It has been, BAC is a staple. It is very impactful with even reaching out post COVID-19 to some of the people where they were just saying, you know, I wish that it was still open. I wish that I still had somewhere to just come and sit. I wish that I still had somewhere, you know, I wish that we were open to just be able to fellowship with one another. It was a very impactful place. It was a very impactful place on my own life. I definitely learned and through listing and organization from my executive director, Britt Brad, and DJ co-director, I learned not only to better organize my time, but to better organize my thoughts. And I was able to grow in that. So speaking of growth, I definitely came from a place prior to PA where I lacked a lot of self-confidence, lacked a lot of skill set as it relates to my professionalism or what I thought professionalism should look like. And through the nurturing of not only the PA staff, but definitely my BA grow and see where I'm going. So what are the next steps for Courtney Todd? I am currently pursuing a higher education at this time. So I am going back to school to get my bachelor's in social work and preferably my master's as well. So I would like to leave you all with this final thought from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which says that everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And I personally believe that while you are in service, you are at your greatest. So I would like to thank everyone for sitting through and bearing with me through this presentation. My contact information is listed. Brightmoor Artisans contact information is listed. You can also find us on Facebook. You can feel free to reach out to me via email or LinkedIn. Connect with me. So thank you all so much. And I would like to open up the floor for any questions or comments at this time. Thank you, Tawana. Thank you, Hala.
Hi,
Thank you, Dr.
Courtney.
Hall. Hey, Naja.
How are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I just had a couple of questions. My first one was, were you involved with BAC before you started to serve with Public Allies? Like, I know you're from Brightmoor, so, you know, with BAC being in your neighborhood, was that a place that you always frequent, or did you learn about Brightmoor through BAC through Public Allies?
I actually, look, let me tell you, BAC was a lifesaver for me. I actually came into Public Allies through BAC. I had no idea what Public Allies was, but I knew I wanted to be involved in BAC. When I first found BAC, I was really at a really, really low point and had all of these like itty bitty babies. And Britt and DJ will tell you that I literally dropped off my oldest one and was like, I just need space and time. I was like the first one to drop off my kids and the last one to pick them up. So they were a saving grace to me, and I needed to be involved in what they were doing. And that is how I found out about Public Allies.
Thank you. And I guess it's a two-part question. I know you had two main challenges this term. One was, well, for me, I think in me talking to you was like figuring things out with like working from home and then networking. So can you talk about that, like how you overcame those two things?
Okay, in terms of networking, I think the only way that I could have overcome it was being thrown into it, which is what I did. I'm a sink or swim type of person. You better push me in that water or else I'm just not even going to step inside of it. So I was able to actually become a part of a program called Streetwise. And through Public Allies and Streetwise, I mean, the networking is off the charts. I'm always introduced to different people, just literally, like I said, thrown into situations where I had to develop and was able to develop not only my elevator pitch, but develop this speech about who I am, what I stand for, what I'm going to do, and really talk about myself in the highest regard and not really question or self-doubt it as I'm speaking to people. And working from home, I don't really know if I've overcome that challenge yet. I think I'm gracefully just passing by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Courtney. How you doing today?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thanks. I love your outfit.
Thank you, man. Look at the dress. I was like, I'm getting dressed up to sit nowhere. I'm getting dressed up to go nowhere.
It's okay. Sometimes it's just how you got to take care of yourself.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that you had a great presentation, and I appreciate you being here so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Reed, and thank you for my shout out. You know I love you to pieces.
Likewise. We're going to have some backyard get-togethers soon.
For
Things
sure.
are finally calming down over here.
Yes.
Were there any other? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Really quick, just wanted to say love you, Courtney. Love you, Reed. Great presentation.
Thank you. Hey, Britt. Hey, DJ. I see half of your face in the background. There you go.
Or are there any other questions, comments for Courtney? Dr. Hall says she's excited to hear that you were involved in Streetwise.
It's a great program.
All right, if there are no other comments or questions for Courtney, then thank you, Courtney, for that great presentation.
Thank you all.
All right, next up, Emmy.
I'm just sharing my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, just making sure. Okay. Can everybody see it okay? I can't tell.
Looks great.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Maddie. Okay, am I good to get started then? Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Emmy, and I want to thank you for your time today. I'm excited to share with you my journey to becoming a public ally and the experiences I've gained serving and learning in Detroit. It's not going. Oh, there we go. Okay. So from a young age, I have always been passionate about people, different cultures, and social justice issues. Yet, as I was growing up, there was a clear distinction between my passions and my career goals. Studying, talking about, and showing interest in these topics was one thing, but actually pursuing these interests as a career path was another. To be quite honest, I was fighting feelings deeply rooted in imposter syndrome. And of all my fears, the idea of failing at something that I was actually passionate about terrified me the most. So out of college, I took a corporate position in the automotive industry. This experience was brand new and so stressful. I did not have a background in engineering or business, But in that time, I learned entirely new terminology and industry practices. And in doing so, I demonstrated to myself that I could start from the unknown. I was adaptable and I could be capable. Even so, I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't using these skills I'd gained in work that I was passionate about. I wasn't using my strengths to make the world a better place. And I'm struggling. Okay. So with an openness to diving into the unknown again, I began my search to find my way into nonprofit and came upon AmeriCorps. In Public Allies, I found I would be connecting with a cohort of individuals and serving in Detroit. And when Gerard, who was doing recruitment, gave me the presentation on the program, it felt like fate had brought me there. Though incredibly nervous, I knew this was the best opportunity for me to make a career change. And on top of that, having attended Wayne State University and growing up in the metro area, Detroit was already a city I had love for, and I was excited to be able to re-engage with it in an even more intentional way. For my service term, I matched with the STEMinista project at the Michigan Science Center. Located in Midtown, my SCI's mission is to inspire curious minds of all ages to discover, explore, and appreciate science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM. With this in mind, the Michigan Science Center works to expand its reach to the STEMinista project, which was launched in 2016. The STEMinista project is guided by an intersectional lens. It understands that individuals from underrepresented groups and marginalized populations have different lived experiences and perspectives. It recognizes that a Detroit girl's identity and experiences are not only affected by gender STEM stereotypes, but by race and class. Studies have found that girls gain interest in STEM at age 11, but lose that interest by age 15, a direct correlation to social factors and lack of access. The mission of the STEMinista project is to provide 4th to 8th grade girls at this critical stage the tools and experiences and role models needed to increase their interest and confidence in STEM. As a collective impact model, the STEMinista project leverages relationships with STEM professionals, female role models, and community-based organizations to engage our girls and to achieve lasting social change. Through its partnerships, the STEMinista project delivers high-quality STEM programming, including STEMinista workshops, summer camps, and overnight events at the museums. Since its inception, the STEMinista project has reached more than 10,000 girls and developed a database of 300 profiles of STEMinista role models. Above all, the STEMinista project helps young women reconsider the idea that STEM isn't for girls. It provides representations of successful women in STEM they can relate to and emulate. As the program coordinator for the STEMinista project, I worked closely with our small but mighty team and was tasked with increasing capacity in volunteer and participant engagement, community outreach, and program planning. My service objectives included identifying new program partners, recruiting new female STEM role models, and recruiting new program participants. To accomplish these goals, I learned to create and maintain content for our social media platforms. I found ways to bring the skills I had gained in a corporate setting to help maximize our logistical efforts, organize, and strategize our planning. I am grateful for the opportunities provided to me to attend workshops in community engagement and seminars in diversity, equity, inclusion during my service term. These trainings further prepared me to show up to community events, to make connections, setting up outreach and information tables, and sharing the STEMinista project story with the public. With the onset of the coronavirus, all of our recruitment and programming needed to adapt to a virtual setting. This was heartbreaking because so much of what we had developed was now on hold. But with some new grant funding from the If Then Initiative and Association of Science and Technology Centers, we implemented a social media campaign that robustly highlights women and people of color who are making the world better through STEM. One of the most memorable moments we put together was our You Matter in STEM event earlier this month. As a group, we realized that we needed to reach not only our girls, but our role models in a very intentional way, particularly with the current climate of our country in mind. It would be irresponsible to shy away from this moment. We used this event to bring together a panel of STEMinista role models to not only talk about STEM, but focus on the needs of the community and the self, with powerful conversations in self-care, self-confidence, racism, and mentorship, alongside moments for games and silliness, our virtual attendees, including myself, left inspired and with a sense of community. All the hard work in creating the event, brainstorming, and collaborating with our role models paid off because it had brought to fruition an evening that embodied everything the STEMinista project strives to do. More than anything, I walked away truly understanding the value of speaking your truth and how much our girls, our role models, and our team needed this moment. Through my time with PA in the STEMinista project, one thing was made, or not one thing, maybe a couple of things were made very clear. The importance of a strong network, mentorship, and our PA core values: diversity and inclusion, collaboration, continuous learning, innovation, and a focus on assets. As I reflect on how I came to PA, I realized it was through a mentor that I was originally introduced to PA. And then it was another mentor that helped me through the application process. And now through Public Allies and the STEMinista project, I've been blessed with more incredible mentors and community, especially in regards to my own placement manager, Andrea Harp. Andrea is a community partnership manager of the STEMinista project, and I report to her directly. With over 15 years in the nonprofit sector, she is a formidable force. But what made her an incredible mentor and leader was her constant honesty, generosity, and passion. She genuinely invests her time in my growth, inside and outside of work, and never hesitates to share with me her experience and knowledge. At the same time, she is quick to praise me in my successes, while also sharing critiques to facilitate growth. She wants me to be challenged. Relationships like this are rare to come by, and I am beyond grateful. I know that as I navigate the world, my expectations for what makes a leader have been laid out by her, and I strive to give back to others as she has done for me. To my cohort, I know that within this group, I have a support group I can turn to and who can turn to me. Whether it was playing games late into the night at camp, waking up early to catch a sunrise, going sledding, helping each other find ourselves through vulnerable situations, or crying together through our life maps. These lasting moments solidified lifelong relationships. Through TSP and group trainings, I truly learned what it meant to collaborate and to be a continuous learner. We had all incredibly different backgrounds and experiences. This cohort reframed how I view others and taught me not to make assumptions. Working closely, you quickly find everyone has something to offer, and you need to remain open to new ideas as it's necessary for innovative work to take place. Our collaborations show me how much I did not know and how much I had to learn. These experiences together also reframed what diversity, equity, and inclusion mean to me and what it looks like in action. It was hard at times, but the trainings highlighted considerations I had neglected. Through the community partnerships established by the STEMinista project and exposure to a variety of nonprofit leaders and guest speakers through PA, we were shown the intersections of who these people were as innovators, as creatives, entrepreneurs, youth advocates, artists, and beyond. These introductions and powerful discussions further expanded my understanding of the possibilities in nonprofit and showed me that there is not one way to serve your community. Lastly, Public Allies taught me how to focus on the assets within my cohort and our communities, but to also acknowledge my own personal assets. I learned to recognize the strengths and natural leadership of my fellow allies to stimulate change, but my cohort and placement taught me to see that the value within myself. In knowing this, I have finally begun to believe that I do belong in this space, and as I have new experiences and meet new people, how that takes shape will evolve, but I'm excited to continue on this journey. So thank you, Public Allies. And that's my presentation.
Amy, that was so beautiful.
Oh, thanks, Courtney. I got kind of nervous at first, but then I got into it, so.
You did fabulous. That flowed so seamlessly. And the transitions. Oh my God. That was awesome. I just have one question. You mentioned imposter syndrome. I have no idea what that is. Could you clarify?
Oh, let's get into it. Yeah, so it's this feeling that like maybe let me pull up. Let's just pull up Google because we can do that. So it's nice and clear and to the point. But right, it's basically this idea that you feel like an imposter, that you're fake and you don't belong doing something or being in a certain situation. Let me pull up Google. But I think, especially as I worked with the STEMinista project, really had really awesome conversations about that, because even as we met with these STEM role models who own businesses and are doing all this incredible work in the community and, you know, connect with our girls in such amazing ways, like they would talk about how they had imposter syndrome and how they didn't feel like, they always felt like they belonged in STEM or they belonged in where they were doing, or and for me, I was like, oh, I'm not alone, and like we all feel this. And it reaffirmed to me too what the STEMinista project is doing and highlighting these women these women and showing our girls that anyone can do that and be in, everyone has a variety of interests. It's not just STEM related, like there's all these other intersections of who they are. It just reaffirmed that that really is so important. So
That's wonderful. You know, I didn't know that there was a name for a lack of belonging, because and I talk about this all the time in my presentation too, spoiler alert, that public allies gave me a sense of belonging that I never felt before. I think now that I found a name for it, it's like I'm really not alone, because there are certain spaces that I felt like, oh, you know, I'm a girl, you know, with a disability, I don't think I belong here, but public allies really paved the way to my path to belonging. So thank you for bringing that up and kind of inspiring me to look at things in a more diverse way.
yeah, absolutely. And if you ever feel like you're inadequate and you've forgotten how capable and amazing you are, call me, because I'll remind you. I know anyone would remind you, because you're awesome, Hala. So if you're ever feeling that way, just give me a ring, text me.
Thank you, Emmy.
I'll give you a list.
I love you.
Save it.
Thank you.
Hey, Emmy. I was just wondering, just question for you. What advice would you give future allies?
Oh, that's a hard one. Just go for it. Honestly, like, and I don't mean just, and I don't mean to just like to go for the program, but I mean like there are times where I was like typed up an email and I was like, oh, was it right? And I was like, you just do it, because you're gonna stress yourself out before, you know, all that anticipation like you're building up. It's not serving you. It's not helping you move forward. And at the end of the day, like the work that we're doing, it's all with other humans. And I like to think that a lot of other humans and people give each other grace and kindness. And if you make a mistake, they like get it because they've also done it. And so I like to always kind of keep that in mind too. Like if I start, part of that imposter syndrome was like, I have a perfectionist streak. Like, oh, that's been my battle for like, I think the past few years, but on top of the other stuff. But I think that definitely stopped me from doing a lot of things. And I wasn't giving myself grace to be human, you know, in all the spaces. And so I think we should do that. Give yourself grace to make mistakes. Go for it, because you will make mistakes. But when you do, learn from them and then move forward.
That's good advice. That's good advice. Thanks, Emmy.
So Emmy, I am so proud of you. You know I love you, Emmy. So it's a lot of times I can't even get you to take a day off work. So what keeps you driven as a public ally? And even through you experience challenges or the COVID, you stay driven. So what keeps you driven?
I think it's definitely my placement, like working with a group of amazing women who they are not what they try to accomplish in work, they also bring back to their personal life, and all those values that are embodied in who they are as well. And just how inspiring that was for me to be like, okay, well, how can I also translate that into my personal life? and take that with me. But it's also this cohort. I mean, me and Chanel, we talked every day. You know, like, oh, I'm not feeling like, how do I, you know, like constantly supporting. I know, and with Courtney and Mariah and the TSPs and stuff, like we were all very honest and very human with each other. And I think that helps you stay motivated. You don't feel like, you know, like alone. You know, everyone's going through it together. And so it doesn't feel like you're faking it. You know, you're like, okay, I'm going through this stuff. I still belong in this space. Now, what can I do to keep moving in this space? So.
Thank you, Emmy. Thank you.
Hey, Emmy, did you, if you mentioned it, I got interrupted by my family members a couple of times, so I apologize if I'm asking a question you've already answered, but have you said what's next and what you're going to be doing next? I was really thrilled to hear that PA helped you move away from corporate for now to explore nonprofit. Now I'm curious what you're going to do with that experience to do next.
So yes, PA helped me with my next steps and introduced me to Challenge Detroit. So I was accepted into their fellowship program. So I will be working with Clark Hill PLC, which is a law firm in downtown Detroit, Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays, I'll be serving the community and partnering with our fellow cohort and serving nonprofits in Detroit. So I'm super excited. It feels like a really natural flow for what we did here in PA. It kind of just seems like I'm just continuing on that. So I'm really excited. But that means I'm still in Detroit, so all of us can stay connected, and there's no reason that we can't.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Emmy. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you, Naja.
All right. If there are no other questions or comments.
Can I give a comment? I jumped in right before Emmy started presenting, but for those of you who I don't know, I'm Andrea Hart from the Michigan Science Center. But Emmy, I just wanted to let you know that I cried through the whole presentation. I'm so proud of you. You're absolutely amazing. From the moment I met you, I knew that you were absolutely someone who was going to be such an asset to the STEMinista project. And I think I speak for both Cassie and myself in saying that you are a force to be reckoned with. And I look forward to the opportunity to continue working with you in the future. But, you know, thank you to Public Allies for giving us the opportunity to work with Emmy. She's a beast. To say the least. And so all of the skills that you brought and everything you added to me personally and professionally, thank you. We'll talk more later, but because I don't want to cry, but but I just wanted to let you know you did an amazing job.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm gonna cry now.
Please don't, because I've tried to get myself together enough to be able to talk to you.
I'll do it later.
All right. Thank you.
All right. If there are no other comments or questions, at this time, we're going to take a 6-minute break, about a 6-minute break, and before we go on to our next presenter. Okay? So I will see you when you get back. All right. If you guys are with us, you can come back. I would like to thank everyone for still being with us. And I know you've enjoyed our presentation of learning to this point. So we would like to go ahead and get started with our last two presenters. So with that, I would like to ask Brianna, you're up next.
I can share my screen.
Yes, you can.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
This is a distraction. I'm gonna have to bring this down. Okay, I'm Brianna Jones, and this is my presentation. The theme of my presentation is Life Out the Box. Yeah. Life before Public Allies. I was a recent MSU graduate, straight out of the College of James Madison, May 2019. I thought I was going to law school right afterwards, but I really wasn't sure if I wanted to just go straight into law school. I wanted a year off, but I didn't want to just sit around. So I started looking for jobs, and I ended up at a job fair. Boom. Found PA table at the MGM Hotel. Lord knows I wanted a massage instead of going to the job fair, but you know how that goes. Now let the service begin. Beginning of Public Allies. First step out the box was Camp Miracle. Yikes. Who would have thought I would have went on a retreat trip with a bunch of people I didn't know. Plus I feel like I was placed out of the box of the cohort. Boom, it happened. We went to Camp Miracle. All you guys lovely faces in the picture. Camp Miracle Retreat. First, I was very nervous to go on the beginning of your trip. I didn't know anyone. Spending 3 days with people I didn't know sounded like a very bad idea. Plus, it was snowing bad, so I was like, we're gonna get stuck. We're going out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where I'm going. Then I started to have fun, minus the food. Everything else was good. What I learned at Camp Miracle. I learned never judge a book by its cover because you never know what someone have or already have been through. I also learned that it is okay to create new memories and bonds with people you just met. This is our picture. We was group 1. I think we won this game. I'm not sure, but it was a dope picture. Placement. My placement, I was placed at Detroit Public Schools Community District. Their mission is we educate and empower every student and every community every day to build a strong Detroit. And their thing is when students rise, we all rise. Placement. Meet the dream team. So as you all know, me, Josh, Mike, and Josh, and Mike, we were placed at Detroit Public Schools together, and we called each other. They started calling us the dream team because we just made things happen. We was placed in the Office of Government and Community Affairs as a community engagement specialist. We was placed there to help launch the citywide community engagement strategy for the district by identifying opportunities for current staff, thereby increasing the district present and help restore the reputation and build trust within the community. If you see this picture down here, these are CELs, community engagement leaders. So we were all placed out in the community, just going to different community meetings and block club meetings, trying to get the word out to the community what DPSCD was doing and how it was changed from DPS. Office life at Detroit Public Schools Community District. This is us. These photos is us like working. We was always in meetings, always basically in meetings. But these two photos, what's funny is the background story of these photos is the power went out in the Fisher building. And instead of them sending us home, we had to go across the street into a little coffee shop, and we worked all day there. So this is all the employees on the 14th floor, so the superintendent floor. So we worked on the superintendent floor too as well. Let me just tell you all a little bit about DPS and how my experience there. At first, I was in the Office of Government and Community Affairs, where I was placed there for to do policy and also because policy, that's my background. So I went to school for social relations and policy. So I love studying the policy and legislation and bills and all that. So stepping out of the box was working with DPS because we was in the community. So we was always in the community base. We was always in Shawn. We was always talking to people. Me, I'm kind of like an introvert. I don't really like talking to people that I don't know. But when I'm comfortable enough to talk, I'll talk. But other than that, I'm shy. So stepping out of the box was being a community engagement leader, in the community, out talking to the community and people around. So that was the step out of the box for DPS. I consider DPS, although it was service, I considered it as a full-time job because we worked, I feel the first 2-3 months we was there, we was working 60, 70 hours a week, 8 to 7, 8 to 9. It was crazy hours. I like the intense long hours and when the work is intense because we was on a 16 meeting series every night with Dr. Vitti, talking about the school changes and the building and facility, basically just educating the community on how DPS is funded, because I feel that's always been a misconception or miscommunicated. People within the community don't know how the school system, public school system is that and how is it funded. So I feel the series is really good for the community. So we sat down and actually broke it down to the people who came out to the meeting. It was 16 series. It was really nice. During highlights of my placement, I had the opportunity to present to the State Board of Education with my boss, which is right here with the blonde lady, Sharice Butler. Yes, this was really nice. We went to Lansing. When we first started, we started to go to Lansing twice a week to sit in the meetings of State Board of Education, basically fighting for funding, equitable funding for the students. This day we presented for the policies of the policies for can't think of it. Just had a brain fart. It was a policy for undocumented immigrants in the school system, how they can't show up on DPS grounds. Well, if they do show up, they can't take anyone away. So we had to present that bill to the State Board of Education. So that was a highlight, one of the good highlights that I had. Another highlight at placement, I had the opportunity to attend Joe Biden's presidential campaign held at Renaissance High School. I mean, we stayed out there. It was raining. We stayed out there for hours. We worked all day, and then the rally started. We went there 5. We ended up leaving till 12. It was a long work day, but I got a chance to listen to his speech. Kamala Harris was there. Our governor, Big Gretch, was there. Brenda Lawrence, the lieutenant governor, and Cory Booker was there. So that was kind of cool. Training and core values. While serving in our placement and having leadership development training, we all learned and practiced Public Allies core values, which are diversity and inclusion, integrity, focus on access, collaboration, continuous learning, and innovation. The core value I felt connected to during this term was continuous learning. I felt connected to this term, this core value, because I am a firm believer that every day individuals can learn something new every day if they are willing to step out their comfort zone and have an open mind about things that are unfamiliar. So this picture is the background. This was us serving at the Charles A. Wright Museum. That was kind of fun, helping out with the little kids in arts and crafts. That was real fun. I don't even like kids, so that was another step out the box for me. Highlights of training. One of the highlights. Me and a few fellow allies had the opportunity to attend the 38th annual Women of Color Task Force Conference at U of M. The conference was really nice. Like, I learned a lot. I didn't think I was gonna take so many notes, but I did. It was very informational. Besides the experience I had during lunchtime, that was kind of messed up. But other than that, it was really nice. Strengths and weaknesses. During this time, I learned a lot about myself. I found out more about my strengths and weaknesses. My strengths, I've learned that me being a team player and being open-minded. Like I said before, like, I'm kind of shy, so like I'm not the type of person to always raising my hand, have good while we're talking about ideas. I'm the type of person off to the side, like sharing my ideas, and then people be like, why you just didn't raise your hand and say it out in front of everything? That's a good idea. I'm not really that type of person. I'd rather just sit back and be a team player and just listen and not be, I should say be a team player and not lead. Like, in certain situations I'll lead, but I'm not always, oh, I'll be the leader of this. No, I'd rather just be a team player. And I'm open-minded about certain situations. Like, I'm down for whatever, just not, to some extent. I found out one of my weaknesses is not being able to adapt to certain changes that forces you to change. For example, COVID-19, the whole pandemic situation, it has forced everything and everyone around me to change from normal to abnormal. So first it was like kind of freaking me out. Like, we went from going into the office every day to like having to stay home. Like, I was never the type of person to work from home, and especially like for months straight just at home. It took me at least a good month to get used to like working here, being on a computer all day, on Zoom calls. I'm so used to being in person, so like that was a struggle for me. And then I was all freaked out about the pandemic. I was like, this is not normal, but it was like, this is the new normal, because like life would never be the same. So that was kind of like out the way with me. That was my weakness, like sudden change. It'll just throw you off. So I need to learn how to adapt to change, because it's like, it's okay sometimes for change, but like this change was like hard for me to adapt, because everything was like, went from normal to abnormal. So that kind of threw me out the box as well. What I've learned, you have to live life out of a box. Like I said, you got to step out your comfort zone. It is okay, because sometimes change can be good for the better. You just have to think positive and believe in yourself. Do the best at everything you do, no matter what. So that's how I learned. Like, things get rough. Like, this service term, it was really rough for me. Like, at the end, I didn't share this to anybody, but I lost my significant other. So I kind of like stepped away a little bit, but I'm glad I'm back. And you gotta take everything one by one, day by day, living out of a box. That's what I learned during this whole PA ride. Life after public allies. Graduate school, I applied to U of M. Still waiting on them for my master's. Another time, I thought about it. I'm not sure yet. Maybe not. I don't know. Wherever life takes me. Job. Just let the job search begin. I want to thank you, PA, for the experience of a lifetime. Best wishes to everybody in their future endeavors. And I'll take any questions.
I just want to say I'm sorry for your loss, Bree. Hope you're doing better.
I can't see. Let's see. Okay, there I go. Any questions?
Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Nigel.
How are you?
I'm fine.
So I know that you're growing. Well, you did a good job, so thank you. And thank you for being vulnerable and really, sharing what you've been going through and how you've grown. So I know you're going to grad school, but how did you come to that decision? Like, what made you decide to go ahead and apply to grad school? And then what will you be studying?
Well, I was looking, I didn't know if I wanted to go to grad school or go straight to law school, but University of Michigan Dearborn had the master's program, public administration and public policy, which is really good for me. I want to do kind of both, and I didn't know anywhere else that had the program. And then Dr. Hall, she's a professor in the program, and we talked a lot about it, and then it was a perfect fit for me to just go ahead and apply. So I would rather hold off on law school because I really don't want to do law yet because I don't know what type of law. So I just want to learn more policies. So that's what made me pick the grad program.
Brianna, thank you for sharing. I just wanted to say really quick too, I have a lot of friends who went to law school, and a lot of them said they wish they would have done the master's program first before they went. And from what I learned about you from your presentation, I think that that's a good choice for you too. So I'm really happy to hear that that's what you're doing. I think that you'll be really happy with it too.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Well, we should mention she has that master's. So she's a good resource for you, Brianna.
Oh, thank you. We'll have to exchange information after this.
Of course, yes. I'll send my email in the chat. You can contact me whenever.
Okay, thank you.
Brianna, I just want to say that hearing about your experiences and how you kind of grew out of your comfort zone and you came out of your comfort zone was really impactful to me. I also would like to say that I like your humor throughout the presentation. You said that you'd rather be at a massage than be at the person. I like that that you incorporated aspects of humor, but also you really powerfully explained your growth, and I'm very proud of you as a fellow ally.
Oh, thank you, Hala. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
All right, with that, well, I'd like to thank Brianna for that. It was great, wonderful. I would say, good luck in whatever you do, whether you go to law school or get into the program. So please, good luck. So we'd like to go ahead and go with our last presenter today, Chanel White. Chanel, you ready?
I am, PV.
Go ahead, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a journey through hope. I have always known myself to be the ultimate team player. As someone who has always been sensitive to the needs of others, empathy has been no stranger. I had to consciously remind myself to remain open-minded as I chose to look at every situation life handed me as an opportunity to learn something about life and myself. This time last year, I relocated to Detroit in search of a place where I felt a part of something much greater than myself. I was looking to learn how to provide for a community and what it truly takes to work in nonprofit. Public Allies was presented to me in Michelle Obama's autobiography, Becoming. When reading the book, you truly get a sense of what Michelle Obama was passionate about. So when she reflected on accepting the job and pay cut willingly to work with Public Allies, I knew then that Public Allies was going to be a game changer. So like any other person in the year of 2020, I went to our beloved Google to see what I could find about Public Allies. I was beyond ecstatic when I learned there was a Public Allies in Detroit. However, I noticed that the deadline for the fall term was 2 weeks away. I made it my business to have the application turned in within 12 hours, and I did that. As excited as I was for the opportunity, I had no idea what they were truly about to reveal to me over these next 11 months. Once the interview process to get into the program was complete, then came the ever nerve-wracking match day. I don't think I've ever been that nervous another day in my life, mostly because this program allowed me to share my wants and passions without immediately being dismissed for not having a bachelor's degree. So the thought of an organization not understanding my passion was a tremendous fear. Nevertheless, I was matched, and so began my journey through hope. During our intense core week, you could feel the indecisiveness in the air. It was the, who are you? What is this person about? And how is this going to go? And then they dropped the bomb of us going to camp the following week and sharing life maps to become a closer cohort. So not only did they want me to go to a place packed with more snow than I had ever seen before, but more importantly, they wanted me to share a life map full of my vulnerabilities with people I didn't know. Yes, they did. And so I did it. I will admit, as nervous as I was about it all, it was the most fun and exciting time I've had in a long time. From playing games to intense disagreements to s'mores in the camp to crying over life maps. Our public ally staff definitely knew what we needed to build a bond. And as we made our way back to Detroit, all I could think about was serving at my organization. Focus Hope. Detroit was still smoldering from the '67 riots when a small band of people, led by Father William Cunningham and Eleanor Jositis, pledged to unite a community that was sharply divided on racial and economic lines. They wrote a mission statement that pledged intelligent and practical action to overcome racism, poverty, and injustice. Focus Hope provides an early learning center, which was established in 1987. This program educates over 200 children per year and provides over 250 women a year with peer-to-peer support for pregnancy, birth, breastfeeding, and early parenting. Focus Hope has been driving successful youth development also for years through its school time and summer programming. Youth programming works to guide community youth to the highest levels of personal achievement through concentration on academic achievement, leadership development, personal development, community involvement, and diversity training. Our education and workforce development programs prepare individuals for success when they're competing for jobs. We offer a holistic approach to individuals looking to jumpstart their careers. Our programs are scholarship-based and free to students. Specific job trainings include CDL readiness, industrial robotics and welding, high-low manufacturing, IT fundamentals, culinary pre-apprenticeship, and many more. Our Food for Seniors program is a partnership with federal and state agencies. We provide 42,000 low-income seniors with monthly food packages to help them meet basic needs. We also provide opportunities to obtain health screenings, income support, tax preparation, and utility assistance. My position at Focus Hope was within the volunteer department as the outreach coordinator. It was my job to attend community events and to travel to different corporations and inform them of all the work we do and volunteer opportunities that are available to them with Focus Hope. Reaching into my back pocket and putting forth the customer service experience that I've gained over the years provided me with a level of comfort that I was beyond thankful for. With all the great programs and volunteer opportunities that come along with them, it's safe to say I had plenty to talk about with potential community partners. However, the Food for Senior program was the one that had the most traffic for us. I had the best introduction to our senior food program possible. That was our holiday senior food delivery event. The event was scheduled for 2 weeks after I started the position and 1 week before the Christmas holiday. During this event, we provided 1,400 seniors with food boxes that could give them a holiday meal. These deliveries were added to the regular monthly food deliveries our seniors normally receive. So as you can imagine, we were pretty busy. We had over 400 volunteers show up that morning to make deliveries and phone calls to our seniors. We had families show up with their little ones, business groups who have volunteered with us earlier in the year, and first-timers who are more than happy to come back and help any way that they could. As we started working into 2020, I was quickly introduced to life at Focus Hope without a major event looming. I spent time giving tours of our campus, heading orientation for our volunteers, as well as setting appointments to speak with different corporations. And just as I was getting into the groove of it all, quickly came to a complete stop thanks to the coronavirus. Even though majority of our services at Focus Hope had to stop, our food program was still a priority and needed volunteers more than ever. There were several occasions when Focus Hope was able to give donations not just to our seniors, but to anyone in the community. It was in these times that I saw what my colleagues were truly made of. When I think about the people that I work alongside at Focus Hope, one of the biggest commonalities I found was genuineness. Everyone possessed an authentic feeling of wanting to serve the community and its members the most conducive way possible. From the smiles you see when you first walk through the doors, to the lives you touch while volunteering, to the graduation day of any of our programs. You can feel the support and encouragement in the air. And if that isn't enough, you can rest assured the staff members, fellow program participants, and even our volunteers will be there to give you those words of wisdom, that push you may not know you need, and a little bit of hope to help you along the way. PA had me trusting a process that I thought I already knew how to do. In my mind, I was a great collaborator, and because I was personable and adaptable, I didn't think I had much to learn in the subject. But to thrust myself into a program that wanted me to be more vulnerable than I had ever been was just what I needed to show how much more there was for me to learn. Although I would describe myself as a people person, there were always hard limits to what I made accessible to others in conversation. Somehow they were able to bring this strong individualized group of people into a unified cohort that created the safest of spaces to talk through our ignorances and engage constantly in arduous conversations. These conversations have had an impact on my communication skills that I did not expect. I'm able to add insight from different perspectives that I was not privy to prior to the program, and given the opportunity to talk through those topics so that I could articulate them in later conversations. By engaging in these conversations, I can continuously learn new things for myself and for others around me. Like diversity and inclusion doesn't end with only the topics I'm oppressed by. It continues into the areas of life where others not granted the same privileges as I have to fight just to be recognized and understood, such as ableism and gender identity and expression. Those arduous conversations I spoke about earlier show me that. I can show who I am to others by doing the work that naturally flows through me. By encouraging and teaching the youth through mentorship, one could see that I value our future and those who hold it in their hands. By volunteering, others can witness me acknowledge my privileges and provide those who have not been given the same advantages with an opportunity to provide equity within their community. When I started looking at Public Allies as an organization, I knew they would be the ones to show me what I needed to learn so that I could give communities. However, the biggest teacher in this experience was the act of serving. Serving showed me things that could never be taught, and for that, I thank you for this experience. That, my lovely people, is it.
Yay! Chanel, you did a great job.
Thanks.
That was
Chanel,
amazing.
what are your next steps? What are you doing? What are you about to do, girl?
Okay, so I mean, going on 10 months, you guys know that Chanel is quite a, what's a good word? Pretty complex individual over here. And recently, one of the things that has helped me figure out what is for me was I watched a interview from Congressman John Lewis and Director Ava DuVernay, and she was expressing some difficulties she had, and he told her that we don't have to do just one thing. We don't have to limit ourselves to those one things. And I want too much to decide just one path and stick on it, as you guys probably have seen. But I plan to do a lot. I plan to go ahead and get back into school, volunteer some more, find work within nonprofit, whether it can completely fund my cost of living or not. That is, I know what I need to do. And as I work through all of that, I know that it will catapult me into other areas that I would like to do. So that is my plan for the future.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, I will link that interview. I will send it. Does anybody else? Do I need to?
Chanel, your presentation was amazing. And that, I don't know, the word, I always tell you that you have a way with words and really being able to, like, what your message is, you make it so relatable and, like, approachable and easy to connect to. And your conclusion, I'm processing and we'll discuss more later, but that's where I'm at right now.
Thanks, Emmy.
I'm proud of you.
Chanel, I just want to say you are a beautiful human being. And it's been
thanks,
such a pleasure to get to know you and to just bask in the warmth of your wonderful heart. And your passion really shined through this presentation. You have a way of spreading warmth wherever you go, and that warmth just emanated from your presentation. I could just feel it. It was wonderful.
You must stop, because you are the only person able to make me teary-eyed within 3 seconds. So.
Okay, I will stop now.
Thank you, Hala.
You're welcome. Of course. But I'm only telling the truth.
It's fine. I will say, earlier when you spoke about when you and Reed were having a moment about allowing yourselves to, or allowing others to kind of get what they want, I want you to know that both of you, I never saw that in either of you. The conversations that could have been passed over, Hala, when we talk about ableism and other things, you could have just kind of let other people have their way with it and just nod, and you didn't. And you allowed me to learn a lot and acknowledge a lot of my wrongdoings or my ignorances in those aspects, as well as Reed listen, if it's one thing, Reed is like, nah, it's not happening. It sounds nice. He'll let you, okay, all right. And I was just like, yeah, it's no pulling one over on Reed. I think you guys are great. Yeah. Do it better than you think you do.
So I just want to make sure to echo that sentiment right back at you, Chanel, that you, I think, are the hardest on yourself, and you are always doing better than you think you are. So good on you. You've really had an impressive service term. And one of the things I think that I have admired from afar is your ability to connect with people. I think it comes really naturally. So my question for you is just, how would you coach somebody if they were trying to build connections with other people? What advice would you give them?
My first thing is, when you're coaching other people, you're not necessarily worried about other people. It's you, because they take in you. So it's like, what and how are you most comfortable? Get into that. Feel confident in whatever you are most confident in when it comes to yourself. People are going to very well react to that in the way that you want them to. So you got to find a way to kind of channel it. I've always been, in the first slide, I think, I had a group of, me and my group. That is my group to the core. That is the family I have chosen through and through. And whenever I have to find a way to articulate myself that I think I'm struggling with, I feel them embody me. So I know then, because that group makes me comfortable, that I'm comfortable speaking about whatever it may be. So getting comfortable with that, channeling whatever that is, and then going for it.
Thank you. That's excellent advice.
No problem.
Good work.
Anybody else? I'm in a talking mood now.
Chanel, you did a wonderful job. A great job. That personality of yours really came out through your presentation. I know I always play with you and tell you that you have this real strong personality, and I have a daughter at home that's like that. I shouldn't have to have that at home and at work too. So
you're welcome.
But you had this strong personality, and I do love it. And I love talking to you, and I love listening to hear you talk. So, but I would like to say you did a great job. All of you did a great job. From Chanel to Emmy, Emmy, I just finished crying from yours just a few minutes ago. So, so after I got my face fixed, I came back on screen, and all of you guys did a wonderful and amazing job, just like I knew you would. And I had to get clap and hats off to you. So with that, I would like to ask, does anyone else have any closing comments before we close today's presentations out?
Just wow, everybody. Good job. You guys are so great. I'm so proud to work with you all. Nicely done.
I just want to echo what everybody else has said, and also thank you, Chanel. I'm so proud that you worked at Focus Hope, or served at Focus Hope, because I worked there for 7 years, so it was great to see you at Christmas time at the event that my husband and I were able to volunteer at, thanks to him having my kidney. So it was really fun to be able to serve and volunteer together, because he hasn't been able to do that for the past few years. I also wanted to say a special kudos to all of you, because you've been serving during COVID-19. Like, this is just such an intense and insane time period on the planet, and the fact that you guys managed this transition and have figured out how to Zoom together and with all of us, it's pretty miraculous that you've all stuck it through and made it. And your presentations are testaments to your fortitude and your passion and your dedication for this work. Thank you.
All right, if there are no other comments or last words, then I would like to close today's meeting out with a question. And usually we would do shout outs and announcements today, but the only shout out and announcement is that, we had this, our second group is going to be on Wednesday. So if you could, for those of you who, other than allies that can be with us, we will be doing this again on Wednesday with our second group. Okay, with that, I would like to ask this question, this closing question. If you could change your age forever, what age would you choose? Yeah, I don't want to say why, but what age would you choose? If you could change your age and that age you would be forever, what age would that be?
Do I get to keep all I've learned up until this point?
Yes.
I get to keep all of that.
You get to keep all of that.
22. Done.
30, easy.
I'm with Mike, 30.
30 even.
I don't agree with him.
I'll say 21.
I got a little knowledge, I done seen the world. I look good. I'm in my prime. Yeah, 30 even.
I would have to piggyback and agree with 30. I've experienced things. By the time I'm 30, hopefully I will be settled, or at least I know where I'm going. My 20s was turned, so 30 would always be good. So, yeah.
28. It was a good age.
So Brianna said 21. Anthony said 29. Hala said 18. Sade said 25. I'm with you, Sade. I think 25. Amanda said somewhere between 35 and 40.
So I always think I'm 33, so I may as well just go with 33.
Okay. Dr. Hall said she loves being older and a whole lot wiser and feeling physically well enough to enjoy most activities. Tiara said 22. Jupiter said 30.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to turning 30 based on what everyone is saying. But I would say, I don't know, I would say 27 has been good to me so far.
I need to retract my 22. You can't rent a car, I think, at 22. So I will be 25. I am increasing my age.
So you want all that wisdom and be able to rent a car as well. Okay. If that's it and that everyone has gone, I would like to say thank you. I enjoyed everything that happened today. I hope you had fun. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for our second round. Okay?
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day, everyone.
Everybody.